Hey, everybody, listen, happy New Year, right? It's been since last year that I've been able to connect with many of you through the Jazzy Report. And so I'm so excited to be back with you this evening because I have an exclusive special edition of what we're going to do tonight with the Jazzy Report. That's a little near and dear to my heart due to some recent experiences. And so, you know what? We're going to jump right in and really talk about it tonight. And so I want to take an opportunity, of course, welcome each of you for joining us tonight. I'm sure many of you have seen a lot of promotions that's been going on throughout the day and over the course of the past couple of days to let you know that this is a virtual clarion call for our youth. And so this is an opportunity right now where you can actually tag someone, share the broadcast, let everybody you know all across your social media platforms know that this is happening right now, whether you're on Facebook Live or YouTube Live. So wherever you're chimed in from, we take an opportunity to welcome you to the Jazzy Report. And so whether you're a parent, whether you're a grandparent, a godparent, a guardian, foster parent, I don't know, maybe you're a teenager, maybe you're a youth, because we welcome you as well to join this conversation tonight. That you can also chime in. We want to hear from you. But tonight we're going to be able to provide not only wisdom, first of all, wisdom, but we'll also be able to provide some resources as well as some nuggets and tools that each and every one of you. So grab your pads, grab your recording device, whatever you need to maybe write down some of this information, because we have some amazing men and women that's going to be able to join us tonight and share with you really what they do personally and through their different organizations to cater to, as well as to reach out to our youth. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, we're going to go ahead and jump right in, because at the end of the day, I want all of you to know that my heart has been heavy due to the recent actions of what took place here in the upstate of South Carolina, in Greenville at the Hayward Mall this past weekend, where a fight broke out. I was in the midst of the vicinity of where it happened. I was there with my daughter, just to kind of give a backstory here of how we landed here tonight and what we're going to talk about as far as this clarion call for our youth. So I want to go ahead and introduce some of my special guests for the evening. I call this young man friend. I mean, I've known him for some time now. He's a husband. He's a minister, a Stellar Award-winning song producer, writer, author, Mr. Alphaeus Anderson. Thank you, Alphaeus, so much for joining us tonight, because, again, this gives, really everybody in the world, because you've worked with youth all across the country. And one thing that you've been saying, Alphaeus, is how it's so important with our youth ministries to make sure that they have a thriving youth ministry, because if they don't have a thriving youth ministry, the church could die. So I'm just going to throw it at you and let you have an opportunity to kind of speak to just what your thoughts are as far as what we're doing tonight.
Yeah, and thank you, Stephanie, for Miss Jazzy. Thank you for having me and my wife, obviously in her absence.
Yes.
But to just piggyback on what you just said, I mean, I just celebrated 15 years of marriage, and again, it could happen. It could happen sooner than later. But I don't have any kids, and so if I don't have any kids, my name won't live on. There will be no Alphaeus Jr. or Alexius Jr. And so if there's no youth in the church won't live on. So I just wanted to follow up with that introduction. So it is important to have a thriving youth ministry, and not a popular youth ministry, but if you have 15 students, you just want to take care of your tribe. It's going to, in a day like 2021, it's not about having hundreds and hundreds of students. It's about having a quality tribe of students. Yeah. And so, again, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, listen, stick around. We're going to go ahead and bring on a next featured special guest. I mean, we know her to be a community activist. She's the founder of Freedom Fighters, Upstate South Carolina. She's a mentor. I call her a serial entrepreneur. She's making her imprint really all across the upstate and surrounding area. Let's welcome Miss Traci Fant. Traci, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It was really, something you said even on the live, that when I shared the video about the mall chaos, is that you mentioned having a mentee that you mentor at the local prisons. And I really wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of chime in and talk about that, because, you know, there may be some young folks that are watching tonight and they need to understand the consequences of what they get themselves into, and, you know, what can maybe even land them behind bars.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, and I look forward to sharing my story with you guys. And I look forward to this opportunity, and I appreciate you for inviting me on to be a guest as well.
Absolutely. Well, Traci, like I said, this is an opportunity for you right now, for those that
Oh,
are
you
watching.
okay? Okay, I can go ahead. Okay.
Story about your
All
mentee.
right. Gotcha. Okay. So, you know, I've been blessed to be able to be a mentor with SCDC. I toured different prisons across the upstate, and I've been doing that for like 2.5 years. Well, one of the young men who I've been mentoring told me about an incident that he happened that led him to 25 years incarceration. He was 18 years old. It was some social media beef, him and some other kids going back and forth, and they decided to meet up at a local park. Well, by the end of the week, it was so much heat, energy behind the ensuing fight that by the time they got to the park, it was crowds and crowds of young people there. Everybody had their phones out, everybody streaming it. And of course, this was about 4 years ago, and that's when World Star was really popping. Nobody wanted to be the one that got beat down on World Star. And that was his mindset. So they're streaming live and everything. He and the young man, they get into it. A couple other people hit the young man. He falls. He tries to get back up. He knocks him unconscious. And while he's on the ground, he's banging his head on the ground.
Wow.
Well, the young man starts to have a seizure. A car pulls up, picks up the young guy who had the fight, drive off. They leave him there. He's eventually placed on life support, and he dies. And so, you know, this young man right here, 18 years old, just graduated high school, had everything going for him, you know, played football, all kind of stuff, looking forward to going to college. Now he's serving 25 years in prison for a terrible mistake, a terrible, terrible mistake that was driven by peer pressure, lack of mentorship, and a lot of other things that came into play. One of the reasons I got so heavily involved in young adults is because, you know, I was lucky enough to have children who really didn't get into much trouble. However, my older son, he got involved in a gang at a very young age, and I decided that I had to do something to help my child. And so, you know, with that, started my organization, ThinkTwice.org first, and it just really drove into what we're doing now. I say this to say, parents should, when you first identify that your child is involved in gang activity, Facebook beef, you know, whatever it is going on, that's when it's time to stand in the gap.
Yeah.
You know, the education to what is it called? The elementary to prison pipeline, that's a real thing. And so when children, you know, sometimes you might have a child in third grade who's always getting in trouble, always getting in trouble. Nobody intervenes. No one sits down and talks to the child and counsels him. Then he's in eighth grade, getting in trouble, getting in trouble. Then he goes to high school. By the time he graduates high school, he already has a juvenile record. And so, you know, it's up to us to say, okay, I'm going to make it my mission, my goal to not only mentor these young men and women in prison, but also make sure I'm an effective mentor to the young people in my community.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you so much for joining us tonight. Let's go right ahead and bring on our next featured guest. I know her as Momma Boyd. Miss Carla Boyd is joining us again. She is an author, and many of you may know her. She is Taj Boyd's mother. So for those of you here in the upstate and has followed his football career from Clemson to where he is now, making her an NFL mom, listen, I know she can speak to the hearts of the teenagers and these young boys that, you know, are wanting to pursue a career in football, and really the hard work that it really takes. And so let me, before you say anything, just send my deepest condolences to you as well as your family, because, you know, just the recent passing of your husband, you know, that you were married to for 30 years. And just the fact that you're carrying on. I know that you just recently had a birthday, so happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also love on you as well, to let you know that you have a support system of a community that will continue to pray for you and, you know, pray your strength in the Lord. So the fact that you're here tonight, you know, as a football mom, and I know there's many teenage boys that are really interested in taking their football career to the next level. And, you know, even speaking about your son has a foundation, the Taj Boyd Foundation. So I just want to give you an opportunity right now to speak to the hearts of whether it's parents or those youth of those boys that may be interested in turning their moms into an NFL football mom?
Good evening, and I want to thank God for this opportunity, and hello to everyone that's tuned in. Really, what I want to say is it takes a village, and it takes parents, it takes the community to help groom these young, kids until young teenagers, until young adults. I mean, without the village, it's impossible, and we need to hold parents accountable for what they're doing with their children, and we need the leaders of the community to step up and create extra curricular activities for these children because they have nothing to do, and that they feel like when they have nothing to do, they have no purpose. So then they get up and get into mischief, But if they feel like they have a positive purpose that they belong to, kids can excel with the right team around them.
Right.
It takes a lot of work. We 2-parent home, we made sure they were surrounded by positive people. And like I said, parents need to be more involved. Don't just drop your kids off at the malls, drop them off at the park, and they're unsupervised because it's too much, it's too much aggression with our teenage society right now. They're angry, they're frustrated. Some of them feel like no one cares about them. So then they go on to involving themselves in gangs where they feel that love of other gang members. But if they had that love and support of their family members, they would never think twice about, joining gangs or doing, gang violence or turning to the streets, because a strong support system is very important. And the community leaders need to come together and create activities for these youth in the upstate.
Absolutely. And one thing you mentioned was the 2-parent household. And, in many cases, that's not the case. And, there is the absenteeism of the father and sometimes even the mother. And so there's such a different level of peer pressure and what our teens are dealing with. I think about my daughter personally. I'm 45 and she's 15. So, of course, she always makes it a point to say, there's a 30-year difference, Mom. You don't understand our generation. But, she may have a point there. And I'm like, there's nothing new under the sun. We're going to continue to do our part to see what we can do to help continue to pour into our young folks. So our next guest that's going to join us for this first segment of the hour, Pastor Vincent Downing. I was chiming in on social media and I saw that he just did a grand opening for Sight Beyond Sight Entertainment Radio. And so they've created a recording studio that really want to get our youth involved and engaged in, to show them the whole processing of recording with the studio, showing them how to play the piano from scratch as well as the drums. So I definitely want to take an opportunity at this time to add to the live Pastor Vincent Downing. Thank you so much, Pastor Vincent, for being here tonight. And I want to give you an opportunity because you also being a pastor, you have teenagers as well. You can speak to having PK kids that are teenagers, but also speaking to what you just recently had a grand opening for on New Year's Day of your recording studio location.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jazzy, for the opportunity. Happy New Year to you as well. And Sight Beyond Sight Entertainment is a business where we are multi-entertainment business, actually, because I'm a DJ. Also, they call me DJ Pastor Happy Feet. That's my handle. Okay. And I've been doing it. I just started doing this in '95. Okay. And music catches the heart of the people. And this is the reason why I still do it, because music catches the heart of the people. Music is music for everything that we go to, everything that we go through. And our young people today, they say we don't understand because we're older. When we were young, we all got knocked around and got this knocked out of us. But, and nowadays we can't go around, and knocking the heck out of them. What we need to do is just knock some empowerment into them with some words and giving them opportunities, which the Sight Beyond Sight Entertainment does, giving them opportunity to channel their anger, channel their feelings, channel their emotions. And how do you do it? Through music. If you got a young guy making millions off of just saying brr, just the word itself, you got to pay them people to do brr, just to say brr. And you got Busta Rhymes saying y'all. We got all of these things that's happening. And these people making money off of the simplest things that understand that, listen, can't never could do nothing. And our people have to understand that it's a teamwork. As our NFL mom was saying, it's a team. Together, everyone achieves more. Okay, that's the way that you spell team. And it's teamwork. We have to be able to do it together. And raising my 4 children, and I wasn't always a pastor. I only been pastor now for 9 years. And so, but I've always been in ministry. I was a minister of music. And my children, my 2 boys, play instruments. My girl sings. And my wife, we've been married 21 years next month. Okay, so it's raising them was definitely not a challenge. It was an opportunity to be able to make sure that I set the example that's supposed to be. And I was just talking to somebody the other day because they call me to fix things and I'm totally blind, but they got eyes and everybody in the house want to call on me. And then a brother of mine, predestined, said, man, you set that tone. You set that tone to be able, because I was like, why are they calling me? I'm the one that can't see. So it's just like, you know, and I've always tell them, listen, can't never could do nothing. So there's an independence that's also being taught that, listen, if I do need help, I can call on somebody. If I know I can do it myself, I want to be able to be independent that I can do it. But if I can't do it, I want to be able to know that it's okay to ask for help, whether it's mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. Of course, financially, they're going to call. But for our young people, we want to make sure that we present ourselves as examples, living true examples that it's okay sometimes to cry. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to have. This is a way that you can channel. We got to give them something that they're used to. So what got them? What got them captivated? What got their eye? What have their attention? It's music. So the music out here, you know, it's nothing new. It's nothing new under the sun, as you said, Jazzy. What's happening is the music has just gotten more out of control, more loose than what it used to be. But we had the True Live crew and all the 69 boys back in our days as well, you know. So that, but we want to make sure that we continuously to stand in the gap and know that, listen, Sight Beyond Sight Entertainment is here. It's a multi-entertainment business where we do teach the different aspects of music. So and we're very affordable. You can find us on the website. On our website at sbsentertainmentradio.com. But we want to make sure that the main important thing is, my last thing is to say that I want the people to understand that you have to see yourself beyond where you are, because can't never could do nothing. If you ever understand, I'm a thermostat. Why do you say that you're a thermostat? Because what society has done to a lot of our young people, especially our color, is treated them like thermometers. And when we act like a thermometer, then all we doing is just adjusting to someone else's thoughts, opinions, or whatever else is going on environment. We adjust to that. So, but if you are a thermostat, you are in control. You can change the temperature. You can change your environment with your own mindset, and it starts here.
That's good. Well, thank you so much. Listen, we're going to keep moving right along in this first segment. Then we're going to chime in again with all of our featured guests. But coming up next, a young lady I've been friends with for years now. I was able to see her birth into the earth. It's called Elegantly Graceful Pageant. It's actually a program because it's more than a pageant. It allows our young girls as well as our princesses to really understand their worth and that they can really stand out and be bold and courageous. So Miss Tiffany LaSha is joining us tonight. Elegantly Graceful, more than a pageant, because again, you're working with young girls ages 5 to 17. And so you're also hands-on as it relates to working with these young people, and we're trying to help them to understand there are things that we can do to keep them motivated, inspired, and encouraged. So Tiffany, let's talk about what you're doing with Elegantly Graceful. Well, I think Tiffany may be muted. Tiffany, are you muted? Let's see.
I was muted. Hi, Stephanie, Miss Jazzy.
Hey.
First, thank you so much for, all that you do to create platforms, to expose the great things that are happening as well. So it's so much negative going on, and it is great to have platforms like this to talk about solutions to those things. So I am Tiffany LaSha, and I am the creator of the Elegantly Graceful program and Pageant. I'm super excited. We work with girls, young girls, young ladies, ages 5 to 17. Parents, there are positive programs out there for your children. And I encourage you to look at the egpageant.com to get your girls involved. It's a community. We reach, teach, cultivate our young ladies so they can see their worth, expand their lenses of the world so they can walk into their purpose. It's very important for our youth to have a community of positive influences, because at the end of the day, it's all about influence. Even as adults, who we surround ourselves with, who's in our ear, who's our circle, and it's important that we reach them at a young age and put them in an environment where they can be poured into, not only by us adult mentors, role models, but who they listen to the most. And that's their peers, right? So with our program, the girls go through different workshops on self-esteem, self-confidence, etiquette, community service. And then we do bonding events where we take them outside of their community and show them that there's a lot out here to the world, and teach them how to love themselves and to pull out their potential, so that they can be successful contributors to society, and walk out their purpose. So we do so much, guys. I just would encourage you to call me, to go out, to reach out to our website. And there's so many different things that we do. We're actually going to be launching the sector for our young boys next year, 2022, which is extremely important, because to be quite honest with you, right now, we have most of our youth that are in single parent households, broken homes, where they are, going from dad's house to mom's house to grandma's house, or being raised by aunts and uncles. I mean, it's a different world, where we are now, and it's important for some type of stability of community, and that's what EGP, Elegantly Graceful program and Pageant, that's what we do. So yeah, we do a lot, community service. I just love what we're doing with these girls, and I mean, they do art and music. I know we have Alphaeus Anderson here. He's a genius in his field. Traci Fant, she's someone that we look up to, because she is very much into activism, and so many different people you have on today. But yeah, Elegantly Graceful Pageant program. You guys check us out. Parents, we're here to support you and to be a village for you. It takes a village. We can't raise our children on our own. Our children, to be quite honest with you, our children are not raised by just us alone. They're raised by our teachers and their peers, and the different activities that they're involved with. Those, we're all pouring into them. So yeah, we'd love to be that extended family for you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Tiffany, for what you do. So, Alphaeus, we're going to circle back to you, because again, happy belated anniversary. 15 years is a milestone. Yeah. You got to continue to share the secret sauce of what you and your wife are doing, and that is keeping the secrets, right? Yes, Alphaeus, listen, first of all, hats off to you, because the fact that you and your wife don't have children, but there's so many children across the country that call you father, or call you mentor, or call you dad, or the fact that you really poured your life into something that you said before that stuck with me, is you said you grab them while they're below the ears.
Yeah, below the shoulders.
Below the shoulders, yeah.
Yeah, and I wish I had a student to demonstrate it. I'm just gonna grab I have a hat here, and so many people have said it. Tiffany said it, and Momma Boyd said it. It does take a village. I don't get any special treatment. I don't deserve special treatment and glory in heaven for doing what I've been doing. I'm not looking for anything extra from the good Lord Master. The Bible says train up a child. It never said who should train up a child. I read it tons of times. It just said train up a child. So it does take a village. And the dichotomy here is the person with the most presence has the most power. So it does take a village, but who has the most presence in the next generation? And we obviously know who's most present in their life because of the fruit that we're seeing. So I accept the challenge. We're not doing enough. And part of our secrets that we keep is we don't post everything that we do with the next generation, because we like to keep the dignity in the situation. But I do want to emphasize below the shoulders is important. I hope you can see this. This is representing a kid. Our best chance in changing the narrative is catching the next generation below the shoulders. You see this guy right here, he is above my shoulder. But when he's below my shoulders, it's training mode. And I'm talking to parents, I'm talking to me, I'm talking to teachers. We got to throw everything we got when they are below the shoulders. In other words, when they're kids. If we don't, when they get above your shoulders, it's now repair mode. It's rehabilitation mode. It's deconstruction mode. Now below the shoulders, it's training up mode. It's showing them the way. It is too late when they get above your shoulders. It's too late.
Yeah.
It is, Frederick Douglass said, it is cheaper to build youth than to repair broken man.
That's good.
It's easier to train up below the shoulders than to rehabilitate above the shoulders. So that's my overarching theme. Churches, mentors, aunties, when they are a kid, step in, spend the money. I'd rather spend the money now instead of spend it later on bail. Traci probably knows exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. I would rather spend my hard-earned money on a laptop than bail.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, Alphaeus, I'm not going to take too much more of your time. For anybody that's watching, because you do so much from online church, you've got the equipping and training center, to being an author, the youth magnet, the gain to maintain. There's a plethora of things that you offer specifically for our youth. For someone that's the pure in arts, I mean, for someone that's watching tonight, how can they reach out specifically to you and kind of find out more about how they can connect and maybe even bring you within their church ministry where you can help to get their youth ministry thriving?
Sure. Just visit gainmaintain.com. gainmaintain.com. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. So just visit gainmaintain.com. Of course, every Sunday, churches are pausing on Sunday, so you can visit childrenschurch.online or teenchurch.online. We have dozens of messages for the next generation.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Alphaeus. We appreciate you. We're going to come back to you, Traci. So again, thank you so much for just sharing your testimony about the mentorship that you're doing. And I know you do a lot of hands-on, even at some of the prison ministries that you really, that's what you call it, it's a prison ministry that you're going in when no one's able to really visit them and you're touching them and you're addressing issues of things. But again, there's young people that may be watching tonight. Jail is not somewhere that anybody wants to land. But with everything that you're doing with Freedom Fighters Upstate, again, I know your sole mission with this group of volunteers, you're dedicated to promote peace and unity and justice for all, whether it's on the local level or national level. So I want to give you an opportunity again, to just address the crowd of people that are watching tonight and how important it is. Because again, the purpose of tonight's broadcast is to really help us to understand that there are resources available. There are people in our local communities that have things catered to our youth, and just really want to be able to share. So go right ahead, Traci, whatever's led on your heart you want to share with the people.
Well, along with peace, unity, and respect, there's also accountability. As everyone has been saying, it does take a village, but the village has to be held accountable for our destructive behavior as well. The village needs to work on the village. We have to be careful on who we introduce our children to, who we allow to influence them, and be more intentional in being our child's first influence at home. You know, I wouldn't be able to do anything in the community if my home was tore up, if I wasn't able to apply the ethics and everything I'm applying in the community to my own space. And so we have to be very intentional on what we allow our children to see. You know, the world is running at such a fast speed now that kids is 10, 11, 12 years old, they know about everything. I mean, 10 times more than we even knew about it at that age. And so we can't hide it from them. We can't shield them from it. It's very unfortunate that we can't, but we can watch how we introduce it to them. And we need to be the ones who introduce things to our children. Don't let the world grab your child by the hand. You know, our responsibility is to take our own children. Just as Alphaeus said, thinktwice.org, our motto was, it's easier to build a child than to repair an adult, because it is. You know, when I go in those prisons once a week and I see these broken men and broken women, my goal is to help repair them. It's to help repair them, but we have to address the issues of trauma, abandonment, lost trust, you know, everything that they've been through from when they were children till now. Whereas if they're a child, you can change that atmosphere. You can change it by changing who you allow to influence your children and what you put in front of them. And so again, as community leaders, as stakeholders, as activists, as everyone, you know, as adults, as parents, as teachers, it's our responsibility to be intentional about who we introduce our children to, who we allow to be an influence in our children's lives, and what we allow them to grasp and feel, what we allow them to grasp and view as success. Because our kids are being led astray. Social media is really corrupting the mindsets of our children, you know, and we have to reel it in. It's up to us to pull it back in. So parents, don't be afraid to have those conversations with your child. Very tough conversations. You know, you had a conversation with your daughter the other night at the mall. You told her you didn't want to go back. You explained to her why, you know, and you also said, and I remember you saying this, you're going to respect my daughter. Mm-hmm. You're going to respect my daughter. Yeah. That right there resonated, because I'm like, you know what? If more of us concentrate on teaching our children, not only to expect people to respect us, but also that other person deserve that same amount of respect.
Right.
You know, and so, you know, it's just a lot that we can just touch on as a community. It takes a village, but the village, we need to work on the village first. You know, we need to fix each other. We need to have these conversations. And although the conversations are going to be difficult, they need to be intentional, and we need to just, you know, address the issues that we've fallen back from, address the generational curses. You know, let's talk about this stuff. I mean, it's time. It's really past time. There's no more hiding secrets and keeping things from our children. They know everything that's going on. You know, when we were growing up, the elders didn't let us sit in the room and listen to a conversation.
Right.
Now you go into a room, it's kids sitting all around, and everybody's mouth listen to everything, and they can walk off and tell you everything everybody else said. That's not good. We have to go back to the old ways of learning. But like I said, the village, we need to repair each other first.
Absolutely. Well, Traci, you've said a lot of words of wisdom, a lot of nuggets to take away, you know, with everything that you have going on. There may be some parents or maybe some young adults that may be interested to team up with you and your team of volunteers of what you're doing across the upstate and surrounding areas. How can they connect with you, and how can they reach out to you?
They can follow Freedom Fighters Upstate South Carolina page. They can contact me through there. They can contact me through Facebook. Email me, tracifant3@gmail.com, or email freedomfighters1.com as well, at gmail.com as well. So many ways to connect. But, you know, one thing about my volunteers, they'll tell you, I mean, we're very serious and passionate about what we do in the community. And that's my expectation, to have a very serious, passionate group of young adults and adults who want to really make a change and really take a stand and do it together. You know, Freedom Fighters Upstate is a multi-race, multicultural. It's not religious based. It's not political based. You know, and we have ages from 8 to 80 in Freedom Fighters Upstate. Absolutely. And so, you know, you're not too young or you're not too old to join. We definitely welcome anybody who wants to commit to a group of people who have basically made it our goal to change the narrative in a good way. Good trouble. Good trouble.
Thank you so much, Traci, for all you do. We appreciate you sharing. And I hope that for many of you that are watching tonight, definitely connect, because, again, that's the purpose of tonight's broadcast, to let you guys know what's available, how you can be a part of it. We're coming to you Miss Tiffany, LaSha, to talk about again for any parent that's watching tonight, and just the importance. You know, I think about the young girls that you had in the program, that they were very shy and, you know, very, you know, not confident about who they were, but come through your program, they blossomed out. So just talk about the importance of them trusting you to work with their daughter, and again, how people can reach out to you as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Stephanie. Connect with me, parents. You know, the proof is in the pudding, and to be quite honest with you, you have to get to know me and our program facilitators, and that just takes the first step by just reaching out and taking the call. My heart is, I have a heart for God. I have a heart for children, and what we do is incredible. We have girls that are shy, have low self-esteem. They're being bullied. It's so many things that are happening with our youth today, and it's important, again, and I stress, to have your children connected with the right people, you know, and with the Elegantly Graceful program, that's who we are. We will love your children. We will educate them, empower them, and help them break out their shells and realize their potential. And to be quite honest, just be loved, right? You know, children respond so differently when they are respected, because children have a voice, they're individuals. So you have to listen to them and allow them to you be open. This is one of the great things I'm very proud of with the Elegantly Graceful program, is that our young girls are opening up about life as they know it, how social media has affected their lives, how they are so connected but really disconnected. And our program puts that back into perspective, shows the children that, yes, social media is a platform, and it can be great, but they're exposed to everything through a little tiny device. So we actually take those devices away, man, you know, and connect them in a physical, transparent, tangible way. Also, we educate them on social media and the technology, and, you know, what's harmful to them, what not to post, what to post, who not to accept. You know, it's a lot that our children need. And again, I'm just one platform, one program that's out there that will be that part of that village, a healthy village, because we also are accountable. We hold one another accountable. And I'll say this in closing, I live my life in a positive way. What you see is what you get. My passion for people, young people, little people, grown people, is something God has gifted me with. And I am asking you, parents, if you have children that are troubled, if you have children that are, you can tell if they're going through right now, especially with this pandemic, and they're going through things, you know, mentally, emotionally, even physically, reach out to egpageant.com. Tiffany, LaSha, connect with me on all social media platforms, and allow me to help your daughters, to help you, because at the end of the day, when we're connected with parents that are doing positive things, and they're speaking life, and they're not only speaking, but their actions are showing it, it makes us want to be better. And I have lots of parents in our that their daughters in the program that said being around the type of energy and the things that we do, it made them want to be a better parent, be more present in their children's lives, stop giving them these laptops and these iPads and phones, and letting them raise our children and take more interest in getting involved and being interactive with them.
Absolutely.
So that's what we do, guys. I implore you to connect with Elegantly Graceful program at Pageant. Thank you again, Stephanie, and the Jazzy Report. Y'all, let's just continue to uplift one another, and support one another, because we all have something to offer.
Yes, we do. So thank you so much, Tiffany, LaSha. We'll love you so much. So we're coming to you next, Mother Boyd, again. Just real quick, because we're trying to wrap up this first segment so we can get our next featured set of guests on. But real quick, talk about Taj Boyd Foundation, kind of the whole foundation of what that really entails. And then we're going to give you your final words of encouragement. And Pastor Vince, we're coming to you, your final words of encouragement. And we're going to get ready for a commercial break. So Mother Boyd, it's on you.
Okay, so the Taj Boyd Foundation have been going strong for 5 years. It started out in 2015, and we basically empower and enabling youth through mentoring and character development. And we're working towards getting a building this year so the kids can have some extracurricular activities, laptops, some little social talks, girl talk, because I worked with DJJ girls, and I worked with the aggressive one with behaviors at DJJ up in Tomasi Salem. So we're working, our website is under construction, and we're under construction as we find a building to support the needs of the children in the community, because we want them to overcome this adversity, through character development. That's so important. These young girls, like the young lady was just saying, the computers, the laptops, and the phones are taking over. They're comparing themselves to each other. These kids have no identity. I have 2 granddaughters, and I had them for a few days during the holiday, and they just stayed in that phone. I had to tell them, turn them phones off and talk to me. And one of them is so timid. She's intimidated by everybody because she looks on Facebook and Instagram and whatever kid's website they go on, and she feels like everybody is better than her. But it's an illusion. Kids know how to dress up and put on for that camera and act like there's something going on, but it's really not. And you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. So where we going to come in is I want to sit with these girls and do girl talk. I worked all girls, I worked co-ed, and I worked all boys at group homes as a mentor and a counselor. And I want to sit down and talk to these kids and build their self-esteem up and tell them some stuff. They don't have to look at social media. They got to work within themselves. And we have to, build the right people, the right team around them, and point them in the right direction. It's crucial that we get in these communities and talk to these young children and build them up, before it's too late. It's sad. I'm sad. It's sad when you see all the little, like at the mall, the congregation of kids, there's no parents, there's no parental control, there's no parental guidance. They're just dropping their kids off. So we also need to hold these parents accountable 110%. We need to get out there and do more and get these leaders and get some advocates and try to set some, boundaries for these teenagers and be role models for them.
That's good. Now, how can people reach out to you, Momma Boyd? How can people reach out to you and connect with you and be able to see what we can do to be effectively involved? How can people reach out to you? How can people reach out to you?
Okay. On all social media platforms. Somebody was calling my phone while I was on here, so I'm sorry. Okay, so the Taj Boyd Foundation website, we're under construction, but I'm at Carla L. Boyd at yahoo.com. I'm Carla Boyd on Facebook. Y'all can send me messenger, send me an instant message. Parents, if you need help with something, and if we could provide, if we could provide for the youth, we'll do it. We gave away sneakers, prom dresses. We did a coat and sneakers. We've done coat drives. We gave away sneakers, prom dresses, hats, socks, whatever we could do to keep these kids, their basic needs. Reach out to me, Carla L. Boyd at yahoo.com. I'm Momma Boyd on Instagram, and I'm available on all social media outlets.
Well, thank you again so much for joining us tonight. Tell Taj everybody says hello, but we appreciate you for sharing tonight because, again, we just want to make a difference and let folks know about the resources and just encouraging them as well. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right.
Thank you. And thank y'all for having me.
All right. You're welcome. So again, Pastor Vincent, we just want to take an opportunity. Thank you again for joining us. we're going to allow you to close out this first segment. Your final words of encouragement. And again, congratulations to you, your lovely wife, Natasha, and all the kids for, just allowing your gift to be shared with us here with the world. Because when people look at your testimony of knowing that you're totally blind, but I saw Brother Zacchaeus noted in there that you have vision beyond being blind, though. The fact that you guys have did a grand opening for Sight Beyond, Sight Entertainment Radio, and you are also allowing young people to come to the studio and learn the process of recording, because we know a lot of people are into music. A lot of our young folks want to be rappers or singers. So what's your final words of encouragement? And again, let people know how they can reach out to you.
I guess my final words of encouragement, again, I want to say thank you for this opportunity to be able to come and share our thoughts and our opinions. And I just want to say, most of us have came up, and like Brother Alphaeus was talking about, if we catch them at that training height, then we got them. We can we have a better success rate. But once they get to the point to seem as no return, to all we have to be doing, all we will be doing now is start the repair mode, as he said. And all that does is bring about nothing but excuses. And I go around speaking to a lot of young people, and I go to the different schools, and they call me and come speak to the different classrooms about different things, the motivation of speaking. But when I speak to them, I'm talking about what Les Brown said. Excuses are the box of nails that are the box of failure that there's the box. Excuse me. Les Brown said the excuses is the box of failure, a box of nails that built the house of failure. That's exactly what it said. It says it's the box of nails that built the house of failure. So when we continue to allow our children to have these excuses to not to be better than what they are or what they're doing, and to see themselves further than what they are, then we would continuously to have these moments of trying to bail them out of jail, stop them from fighting, stop them from arguing, stop them from being disrespectful, stop them from doing this. We would often have these things because they would have these excuses. Well, I'm like this because I don't have my father in the house. I'm like this because I don't have this. I was a product of a foster child. I was raised in a foster home. My father wasn't in the home. I'm a single mom. And so all of these things I've dealt with. So no excuse should be used in anything that we go. And these are the things that we need to continue to teach our young people. No matter what you go through, no matter what you feel like, it's okay sometimes to cry. Like I said earlier, it's okay not to be okay. But once you get up off your seat of down time and you feeling down, get up. Get up. Let's find a way to channel our emotions. Let's find a way to fix the issues that we're dealing with. Let's find a way. There are so many avenues, so many people to contact, so many things to do that's out there that a lot of people don't know. And people like you, Jazzy, it's a blessing to be able to have us on the show, to be able to express some of these things and some of these tools that are out here that the parents can use to get their young people involved. Because when the young people come, we want them to, when they come to me, we want them, like I said, to be able to see more than what they'll see and to see themselves further than what they see themselves. Because you don't want to continue to walk away and you want to walk away with all of this clouded vision, all of this clouded stuff that's in your mind that everybody them said this, all this doubt and all of these things. So, and better way to deal with that is to find different avenues and the different channels and to deal with it. So whether it's dancing, whether it's the passion, whether it's a girl talk, boy talk, men talk, table talk, king talk, dealing with mentors or Brother Alphaeus, contact us or reach us. And how you can reach me, you can inbox me, find me on Facebook at Vincent Downing, or either Sight Beyond Sight Entertainment, or you can even just reach me at sightbeyondsight7@gmail.com. We can do all things through Christ that strengthens us, because Can't never could do nothing.
Can't can never do nothing. I like that. Thank you so much. It's been an exciting first half edition of this special exclusive Jazz Report, as we have been talking with really some great voices here in the upstate that really work specifically with our youth. And there are things and resources available for our young people that I wanted to take an opportunity to really share. So parents, listen, make sure you connect with these folks. Let them know you found out about them right here on the Jazzy Report. There's an opportunity right now to share the broadcast, but we're going to go ahead and take a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
It's amazing how people can come together by spending time apart. Quest Diagnostics thanks you for doing your part to stop the spread of the coronavirus through social distancing and proper hygiene. At Quest, we're doing our part by establishing COVID-19 lab testing capabilities across the country to better serve our communities and healthcare providers. If you suspect you had COVID-19, talk to a healthcare provider. And let's keep doing our part so we can all come back together stronger than ever.
All right. Well, thank you again so much, guys, for joining us for this very special edition of the Jazzy Report titled A Virtual Clarion Call for Our Youth. And this all stemmed from a recent chaotic event that I personally experienced from the Haywood Mall. And, I've had several hours, I would say, to think about not only my reaction, but my response. And when I think back, maybe my response wasn't but listen, it is what it is, and it was what it was. And that's what I was feeling in that moment. And I described it how I saw it, which, some people may have taken offense to. So let me pause for the cause right now, because I think about, that could have been my daughter. But thank God it wasn't my daughter. But at the end of the day, it really weighed heavy in my spirit that I wanted to take this platform to show parents, along with myself, because this is all new to me. My son is 26, but he was also reared by his father in those teenage years. So my daughter being 15 and trying to really understand this generation and trying to make sure we keep them engaged and around positivity. And so I have surrounded her, along with some of the people that's been on this platform, with things that I personally wanted her to do, but it may not have necessarily been what she wanted to do. So I wanted tonight to talk about solutions, resources, and ideas from some of these community leaders. So I'm going to take an opportunity as we're preparing for the second segment to just bring on all of our featured guests tonight. First, we're going to bring around, and many of you across the upstate know him as Bruh Mentor. But again, he is a mentor. He's a humanitarian. He's got it described as more passion over politics, but most importantly, he's an heir of God. Let's welcome Mr. Victor Durrah to the live. Welcome, Victor. I'm going to go ahead and bring around our next featured guest of the hour, Miss Brittany Brackett. I mean, we've been working along with each other for years as well. Outstanding Youth Awards, Be Dynamic Productions. There's so much that you're doing with these weekly readings. I wanted these parents to be made aware of. So, Brittany, thank you so much for joining us. Mr. Zacchaeus Moss. Don't see Zacchaeus on there. Okay. Minister Angela Lipscomb. I mean, Minister Angela, I tell you, you've been rocking with me for a while as well with your whole, My Broken Pieces. Now you've got this brand of But I'm Cute, But I'm King, and just walking people through the healing process of recovering from divorce. So, and then our final guest that I guess we're going to bring around, Pastor Curtis Johnson. Thank you so much for joining us. Just being able to speak, for one, having had teenage boys. I know your children are pretty much of age now, but to speak from the wisdom of knowing that you've had preacher kids as well. And, I thought about you when there was a time that we're doing this whole 107 days of nonviolent activity. So there's so much that each of you can bring to the table right now to be able to share. So, Victor, we're going to reel it back in and come back to you. And let me first of all say congratulations on the inaugural of the Scholar Program. My daughter was a part of that as well. So, Victor, I'm going to let you take it away. Talk about From Mentor, talk about the inaugural Scholar, whatever you want to be able to give the people as a resource of what you can do to connect with not only the parents, but our youth.
Right. So, Brothers Restoring Urban Hope is a youth mentor organization, and our mission is to restore the urban community through group mentorship, leadership training, and spiritual guidance. We do that by connecting our scholars or our mentees with a variety of mentors. So they might not just work with Victor or Pastor Curtis. They work with a variety of different mentors from all over. And then we get more specific in what fields they want to go in. And then we kind of match our mentees with mentors that are actually in their field. One thing that we focus on is relationship building and social and the building of social capital. I think a lot of times we teach our youth to go make straight A's, go to college, be the best that you can be. Then they hit the real world, and then they find out that that's not enough. You have to know people. You have to be able to build a social capital, and that's where Bruh Mentor comes in. We kind of bridge that gap, and we kind of let them know that you're never too young to go ahead and start networking, to go ahead and start working on your soft skills and understanding how business works. So we take it from that approach. We don't do one-on-one mentoring. We are group-based, and that's a little different. But that's what Bruh Mentor is all about. Brothers Restoring Urban Hope. And we do serve males and females, as you alluded that your daughter's graduating with us on Saturday.
Yeah, go Sharonda. So I know there may be some parents watching because, again, this was an inaugural of this scholarship program. So when is the next class? How can people register? Have you dropped that information?
Yes. So we'll graduate class on Saturday, and then immediately we'll go ahead and kick off our marketing for our second class. That they can look for information on my Bruh Mentor page or through my personal page or Instagram, or you can see us on www.bruhmentorship.org. So we will start our next class in the spring.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Victor. Coming over to you, Miss Brittany Brackett. Again, you have such a bubbly spirit, and as well as connecting with the youth. And one thing that you really highlight is the successes and the achievement of what our young people are doing. So talk about the Outstanding Youth Award program, as well as talk about these weekly readings and maybe how some of these local authors of kids' books can be able to connect with you and maybe be a sponsor of what you're doing each week.
Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. We go way back, my lady. I appreciate you for having me.
Salt and pepper. Salt and pepper.
Salt and pepper seed. Okay. So, first of all, this platform is amazing for a couple of reasons. Number one, because Facebook is where a lot of our kids are, right? IG, Facebook, all these social media platforms, even though they try to run from us, they try their best to be where their friends are. And I think this is a great outlet, not just for parents, but for the kids to be able to see what we're doing. And they can even reach out on their own. You know, the issue in the past has been that parents have had to do things for their kids or think about, like, what might my child like? What could work for them? What do they need to fix about themselves? What am I trying to prevent them from doing? And the beautiful thing about the Outstanding Youth Awards initiative is that we offer lots of fun activities. But yes, you mentioned the literacy initiative that we started last year during lockdown. Everybody was stuck in their house or in their apartment or, you know, at their aunt's house, whoever's house, and they were limited to what they could do. So I said, let me take an outlet that I'm familiar with and provide something that allows me to put my training to work when it comes with, you know, my entertainment background, the voice background, you know, doing voiceover work in radio, TV, television. I just took that along with the crazy personality that is me, and I put it into something that is therapeutic for me, therapeutic for everybody else, and is really just a fun way to take your mind off of the world. There's enough going on that's bad. So we provide, of course, the reading initiatives. We have done suicide prevention workshops at Big Air Trampoline Park, the opposite of where being sad lives, at a trampoline park. You know, we take the obvious things to be able to get kids out of the bad mindset and open them up to community service efforts, and to be able to partner with organizations like Sustaining Way, and to be able to work with Shriners Hospital and, you know, have 100 essential stockings for 100 essential workers. So projects like that where kids can get involved and they can touch things with their hands helps them really understand that not only do we care about them, but there are other things to do besides getting involved in something that can send you to jail, something that can put you in the wrong crowd. We want to give them options and alternatives to that.
Absolutely. And so, Brittany, how can people reach out to you and maybe even support, maybe financial support, what you have going on with the Outstanding Youth Awards?
Well, you know, nonprofits are always welcome to the financial support. Amen. Amen. So the Outstanding Youth Awards, you can go to our website, outstandingyouth.awards.com. You can email me, reach out to me on Facebook. Our email for the Outstanding Youth Awards is outstandingyouth.awards@gmail.com. You can reach out to me here on Facebook, Brittany A. Brackett, and IG, I'm BB Actress 85.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Pastor Curtis Johnson, we're going to roll over on your end of the world and just really give you an opportunity. I mean, you've been really a voice in the community for so long, and people respect you as being a pastor. You know, as I mentioned about those non-violent activities, because my concern now is, what is it for our teenagers, our young people? What is it for them to do? And I mean, you've reared your boys. They're kind of on their own doing their thing now. But what do you want to add to the wisdom of this conversation as it relates to any parents or young folks that are watching tonight?
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm really proud of what you've established here tonight. I've never been a part of this platform before. This is interesting. So I'm new to this, but I'm going to try to get in here as much as I can. Thank you for remembering what we try to do with 107 Days of Nonviolence, 2 years. Next year is called 100 Days of Nonviolence. And we would have kept on going if it wasn't for the fact that to that effort effectively, you're really going to have a solid team that's connected with several entities in the community. This is not something that one particular group could do. It was a network of community resources that were working together. And so included inside of what we did with that was a pledge of nonviolence, a pledge not to be a part of bullying, cyberbullying, pledge to be in schools safely and not to do anything regarding violence. We had wristbands. We had students all over the upstate actually sign these pledges that they would not be a part of any violence. So over a couple of years that we did that, myself and Traci Fant had a team of young people that we went into some high schools across the upstate and presented assemblies where we did anti-bullying presentations, and Traci's team did a wonderful job in communicating those kind of things. We did get good reports across the entities that we operated with. There was a parade, a march, I call it a parade. There's a march that we did in Anderson for the 107 Days of Nonviolence, and they signed up, I think across Anderson, maybe 3,000 kids participated, and across the upstate of South Carolina, across Greenville and Spartanburg and other communities. I think we had Greenwood, Lawrence, and some of these other counties that participated in the wristbands and the pledges. Included in there was a midnight basketball that we did in several places across the community, and we did monitor with the sheriff's department. And they told us they saw a drastic drop in violence across the upstate. So we saw some successes with that. Now, to go to what you're referring to regarding my son, I'll be honest with you, it was a little bit challenging for my sons because one being a preacher's kid, and both of them, because of the fact that I was on the radio and doing different things in the community, people. A lot of the students knew who I was, or their parents knew who I was, the teachers knew who I was, and so my sons honestly were bullied because they were, I hate to use that word bully, but people treated them different because people knew who their father was. And I had to put a lot of energy into doing some other things with my sons. They didn't do well in high school. Neither one of them did. They did what needed to do to get through. I would be handing out all these honor roll certificates and stuff at my church with all these other kids. My sons did not do that well, and it was because their strength was in creative arts. Their strength was in music. Their strength was in video production and photography and stuff like that. My whole point for bringing that out is not everybody's not going to go to college, and everybody's not. But what I think that my wife and I were able to do is help my sons learn what their passions were, and then help create a path through which their passions could actually produce a living and produce opportunities. I think a lot of our young people right now feel like they don't know what they want to do. A lot of young people are just trying to find something to do. My sons chose to be home on a Friday night and on Saturday night because they wanted to invest in their music and invest in those things that they were passionate about, and that encouraged them, to not compromise what could compromise their future, not to engage themselves in those things could be detrimental to them. So I would say for parents and for leaders and those of us who are concerned for our young people, we have to be intentional about creating opportunities for the young people to learn their passions, learn their strengths, hone them, train them, teach them in those areas, give them something to be passionate about, and then they will protect their passion. I've learned that they will protect what they're passionate about. And if they don't know what to be passionate about, they'll get involved in whatever is available. So the scripture says, train up your children in the way that they should go so that they will not depart. Train up the children, that literally means basically fuel them in the area that they have a bent toward. Literally. In other words, find out what their strengths are. Now, I would not impose upon them what I wanted them to do.
Yeah.
The natural reaction, people see a pastor, your son's going to be your pastor, they're going to follow you. No, they're not trying to be preachers, and I'm not trying to push them into being who I am. It's important for them to learn who they are, and then we help feed them into that area. So I know that was a lot. I know there's a lot in that one question. I don't remember the question that you asked to answer with you, but I hope that it helped you in some kind of way.
Listen, for all the parents that are listening, they can appreciate that because we can bear witness. We're going to pass the baton. Minister Angela, we're coming to you because, again, ask me about my broken pieces, having the relationship, divorce recovery ministry that you offer, and being able to speak to the piece. And I know we're not, counselors per se in that sense but we can speak to how divorce maybe affects these children. So I want to give you an opportunity to speak to the hearts of those that are watching tonight.
Okay. Again, thank you, Stephanie, for all that you do. And you said it earlier, we've been rocking a long time.
Yeah.
I was sharing with someone just earlier and giving you much accolades. And I say, Stephanie has truly given me a platform when it was just asking me about my broken pieces before it was even a workbook. It was just a group, the group that we would get together and I would come to the radio station. And I thank you for that. And it's perfect timing because, when you hear about asking me about my broken pieces, divorce recovery, it started out where it was just for men and women who were going through divorce, separated. Then we had those single people who were married in the spirit and needed to know how to break off those, how to divorce from those relationships and move forward. And it really was all about healing and how to learn how to forgive and move forward. So we focused a lot on the divorcees, the men and the women. So I'm gonna shift it because it's perfect timing. In that we touched a little bit about the children. In the midst of doing this, my son, who's now, and I can say this because he's helping me with this piece of it, he's now 40. He was 6 when his dad and I divorced. Well, about age 35, we had that talk, okay?
Wow.
And at that time, I heard a 35-year-old man speaking from a 6-year-old painful little boy. Wow. Who had a lot of questions that wasn't answered. And the questions wasn't answered because he never asked the questions. We just assume, okay? So in that piece of that, talking about the children, then that's where But I'm Cute and But I'm King came from, okay? But I'm Cute talks about, it targets the little girls or the girls who's going through. And it means confident, unique, talented, and essential. But I'm King was the boy, for me, knowledgeable, intentional, needed, and grateful. Okay, so then it seemed like from there it was just building and building, and from But I'm Cute came the Broken Little Girl. So the Broken Little Girl was a piece where we went into the middle school to talk to those young middle school girls who were dealing with some issues. And a lot of them was either single parenting, coming out of a divorce situation, just a lot of low self-esteem. The But I'm King then birthed, But I Need a Father. This is where I get excited. I didn't raise girls. I don't know nothing about raising girls. I didn't raise men because I don't know how to do that. But I raised sons. So when my son said that piece to me, it was a reality, going back to the divorce. When we're going through relationships issues, the adults talk to each other, either to each other or against each other, but we forget about the children, okay? It's hard for a child to understand why mom and dad and it may not even be the married piece, but why do they not love each other anymore? You have some children, like my youngest son is kind of like me, he's gonna ask questions. Then you have that younger son who's not going to ask. And then as parents, we just assume, or we feel like, I think somebody said earlier, keep a child in a child's place. That's good, but where is their place? Because at the same time, they have a voice. They have feelings, they have questions, they have concern, and they're entitled. Because if they don't, then Stephanie, you guys, what happens is now that same child goes back and wonder, well, was it my fault? What did I do? I want to tell mama that I want to spend some time with my daddy, but she over there, she's so mad at him, ain't talking to him. Or I want to, this part, she's so angry and bitter. So this child now holds back, okay? So again, in that piece, so what happened there, what we did was, and I'm so grateful for my son. In fact, just had a young lady we had to help out the other day because, like I said, I raised sons as women, and I get a lot of kickback on this. I'm sorry, ladies, but it's true. We can't raise men. And if I can just say it like I want, like I told somebody the other day, we don't stand up and go to the bathroom. And that's how blunt and that's how real it is. Right. And we haven't talked about this piece of it. So what happens is when I say the men piece, it comes a time to where now that young man, that boy, he needs that father figure. Oh yeah. Okay. So if I can, and I know we're with time, and I don't want to, but I hope that has given a nutshell of how we got started and what we have gone into. My son do now come in and help me with that piece because I can speak to the divorced mother, the person who's been in a broken relationship, but I can't speak from it from a child perspective. So what my son does, he now comes in and help me coach that piece. He talked to the mother who lets her know why it's important for you to learn to forgive the co-parent, or why it's important for you to have this male. If it can't be the father, find that man that's in the community that can help that young man. One of the scriptures, if I can, Colossians 3:12 stands out to me. It says, the King James Version pretty much says, Father, provoke not your children to anger so they don't get discouraged. But I like the Message because that scripture says Father. So we think, oh, that's just talking to the men. But the Message version says, parents, don't come down too hard on your children or you're going to crush their spirit. Okay, so this is what now, in the meantime, we're coming down because especially those that's going through divorce or broken relationships, most of the time, there are some who is okay, that does it quite well, but then most of the times there's some bad feelings in there, okay? So I don't know if this is a piece, I'm gonna do my little takeaway part of it where I wanna just give this and get out the way. Is that okay?
We'll come back and get a final thought. I know I saw brothers Alphaeus chimed in, so I want to give him an opportunity. We're going to come back to everyone after he speaks and give a final word of encouragement. And so again, brothers Alphaeus being a minister, an author, a small business coach, credit literacy education. One thing that drew me to you to be a part of this platform is you've created this whole movement called Prayers for Education. So much so you've been doing prayers every day through your Facebook group, Prayers for Education, that you compiled your prayers into a book. So I want to give you an opportunity, Zacchaeus, to talk about Prayers for Education.
All right, thank you for this great opportunity. This thing about Prayers for Education pretty much came from a discussion with a bunch of my friends that were educators, administrators, that were dealing with a lot of issues, and seeing the violence in schools and seeing those things that are happening in our society. What drew my attention was we need prayer, certainly prayer in schools. From the standpoint, not so much that prayer was taken out of schools, but the focus on prayer had left schools. So from that, my wife and I, we actually talked about it riding from Greenville, where we are now in Atlanta. So from that trip down the road, we said, what can we do as a couple to actually pray specifically for educators, for teachers, for students. And that very next day, I pretty much created the group Prayers for Education. And every day I would just wake up and just make a prayer, and I would post the prayer of just whatever God led me to pray about, and I focus on that. And a lot of it was related to students and whatever the issue was going on, whatever I felt in the atmosphere, that was the focus, and it in turn became a book. But it's not really about the book. It's really about praying for our students, praying for education in general, because it really is important that we pray. And what I did notice was during that year, there was not any school violence that took place during that long stretch. 2 or 3 years ago, there was a long stretch that we had, gun shootings in schools, that a long stretch happening all the time. But just in this little stretch, there was no gun, no school violence that was taking place. Not to take credit for it, of course, but when we put our attention to God and we pray together collectively, there's certainly impact.
That's good. Well, listen, I tell you what, you guys have shared some wisdom of experience and what you do to really be a resource, a catalyst, to be that bridge amongst a community of villages that it's going to really take to raise our young people. Again, this being a virtual clarion call for our youth. We're going to circle back to everyone. So, Victor, we're going to kick it off with you. One final word of encouragement, and again, how people can connect with you with Bro Mentorship for maybe some of the parents. And let me say this too, because what you all offer, it may not necessarily be something that the youth themselves would sign up for, but just the impact of what you're doing. Talk about that piece, and again, how folks can reach out to you. Oh, Victor, I think you're muted.
Hold on, I'm sorry. No, I just wanted to say that I'm glad that you said that, because that was exactly what I was going to speak on. A lot of times, and I see this all the time, year after year, our parents leave it up to their youth on what to decide what they want to do. So if you have a computer with games on it, or I have to go to a youth development session, that youth is going to choose to go play games, to hang out with their friends, to watch TV. They're not going to choose to go to a session with Victor and 50 other professionals.
Right.
We need parent involvement. I remember when I was coming up, if my mom said I had to go, guess what? It wasn't no question about, Victor, what do you want to do? And I'm not saying I didn't have options, but sometimes you have to be a mature enough parent to make the decisions that your kid is not mature enough to make, because they don't know what they might be missing once they get in that session. You get what I'm saying? So it's one thing if they get there and they say, Mom, I didn't learn anything. But if you don't say, I'm going to make sure that you at least attempt 1 to 2 sessions, then you can't complain. And you can't say that it's not there, or you can't say that it isn't out there. Right. So my plea is to the parents out there. We've got 10 panelists on here that offer different varieties of services. Look at that information down there. Look exactly at what we do. And look at some of the comments that the parents and the candidates that saw the class through, look at what they contest to, look at what they profess, look at what their testimonies are from the program. And it's not enough to just sign your kid up and don't make sure that they jump online. We had 45 registrants because the parents know this is a great program, but only 20 of them will graduate. Because you had to show up to just 70% of the courses that were given. And there was a majority of them that showed up to one, some didn't log on at all, but the more active parents, those are the kids who are graduating. And we gave out, and don't tell your daughter this yet, but we're giving out incentives when they get to graduation, cash incentives.
Wow.
But we didn't have to tell them that up front.
Right.
Every youth will receive $200 from us. Once they, but see, we didn't put that in front of them. You need to go through it and see that there's there's process and development. And when you have all this access to all of these mentors, I'm talking about 60-something mentors that are willing to sit down and talk to you about how I can connect you to an internship, to an opportunity, to an early opportunity. So my plea is to the 12 parents that are on here right now, please just click on bruhmentorship.org and see what your teens can get into and at least make them show up twice.
Absolutely.
You won't regret it. So
I'm telling you, I can attest to that because I was that parent. Like, look, you got 10 minutes, you got 5 minutes. Are you on the line? Let me see you on the line. Let me see him on. Yeah, I was that parent, so I can attest to that. But thank you, Victor, for what you do. We appreciate you so much. And again, being a 501c3, there's people I would hope that would sow into the vision of what you guys are doing. So thank you again for joining us tonight. Minister Angela, again, your final words of encouragement as we're wrapping up this segment of this special edition. I tell you, we could talk all night.
We can. Yes.
Really, again, a platform to provide some resources as well as connections that our parents, as well as our young people, know that there is a village of folks out here that are concerned about you and have, you know, the time, the energy, and the resources to help you to be a better version of you. So, Minister Angela, your final thoughts.
My final thoughts, and I know we talked a lot to parents, but I want to first talk to the youth, and I hope there's some youth that's on here listening. I want to let you know that you have a voice and your voice matter. Your voice matter. A lot of times you may feel like I can't say anything. They just gonna shut me down and shut me off or tell me, well, you know, we were bad as parents or in our culture to say, you're just a child, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, you do know what you're talking about. You may not know how to articulate it, but you know what you're talking about. So your voice matter. But what I want you to understand is in using your voice, talk to the right people. Don't go talk to JoJo and whomever who's probably may be in the same situation and then y'all just bouncing off or whatever. But find you someone. If you feel like it can't be mom or dad at this moment, find you some adult that you watched. And it could be even myself. Like I said, I have a son who will take you, if you're a male, can talk to you from that standpoint. Because again, I don't know what it's like to come through a divorce, to be a child of a divorced family. I got other things that I know that I can talk to you about, but know that your voice matters. Then to that parent, listen to your children. Yeah, you're angry, you're upset. And right now in this pandemic, we're all confused. We're scared. We don't know. And one thing that I've learned from my pastor is that it is okay to say, I don't know. I have told my sons when they were younger, I don't know, but I know who do know. And what I want you to do is watch me as I watch and follow God. Take that responsibility off. So parents, when they come to you with that, listen to them. Sometimes that means you may have to step back and take a deep breath because it's not always pretty. That child may tell you that you're the problem, you're the issue. It may not be factual, but it's their reality. And at that moment, their reality is what's important. And then it's up to the parent, you parent, myself, is to seek the counsel, the counseling, the counsel, the wise counsel, whatever we need, so that we can become healed and whole, so that we can produce healed and whole children who are going to produce those generations to come.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
that's
so
what
people reach out to you, Minister.
If you want to reach me, you're going to reach me at askaboutmybrokenpieces@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook as Angela Harris Lipscomb. Instagram is AL Ministries, AL Ministries 19. So reach out to me. If I don't have the answers, I promise you, because we're a network, I'll get you to the right people.
Thank you so much for sharing in on the panel tonight. God bless you. We love you.
God bless you. Love you guys.
So
Thank you.
Minister Zacchaeus Moss, I mean, your final words of encouragement, again, prayers for education. You know, even with your prayers, that's something I've shared with my children personally. Like, y'all read this. We're going to read this together. So what's your final words of encouragement, and how can people reach out to you? Zacchaeus, I think you may be on mute. Let's see. Unmute your mic. I don't know. All right, well, let's skip over. We'll come back. Brittany, your final words of encouragement, again, your final words of encouragement for all that are watching, and how can people reach out to you?
I'll say this. I am at your disposal to be able to work with kids in any way possible, but specifically with the Outstanding Youth Awards, we focus on safe space counseling. We offer virtual counseling to kids with myself as a counselor, youth facilitator, and counselor. Also, you're more than welcome to watch us on Facebook. We have our great OIA Kids Corner that we started last year to be able to take your mind off of the things that are going on in this world and just allow some laughter to come into your heart and your soul. And of course, we have numerous empowerment workshops that we're going to be having throughout this year. We have some job readiness workshops coming up and a few other fun community service projects throughout the year. But I do want to say that, you know, with a statistic, the CDC has said that ages 10 to 24, suicide rates have gone up. We have to make sure that we are able to reach our kids and go where they are. You know, it's cool to be able to do the things that we like to do, but sometimes we have to get out of our comfort zone and try something that goes beyond our comfort and really dig deep into what the kids might need, or sometimes just setting an example. You know, nobody's perfect. We've all made mistakes. We've all been there, which means we're able to tell them how not to go down the same path. That's the whole driving force as to why we do what we do. You know, I had a mentor who showed me the way, and now I'm striving to be the mentor that shows kids the way and teens the way, so that they don't have to go down the wrong path. So more than anything, we just want to say that we love our kids, we love our teens, and we're going to hear so many ways, and we're open to hearing the ways that they need us and providing an outlet for them. OutstandingYouthAwards.com to visit me. Facebook, Brittany A. Brackett, Brittney, A. Brackett with 2 T's. And you're more than welcome to check us out on Instagram. You can reach out to me, BBActress85. Thank you so much for the chance to chat with you. And this is a great platform. I love what you're doing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Miss B. We love you. All right, so we're going to give you another opportunity. Then, Pastor Johnson, we're coming to you with your final words of encouragement. Pastor Johnson, we're going to ask that you pray us out when we're done. So, Zacchaeus, again, you're back with us. Your final words of encouragement for those that are watching.
Yeah, like everybody has mentioned, thanks for this opportunity. And just words of wisdom is an African proverb that says that the youth will burn the village when they're not embraced, just to feel the heat. They will burn the village when they're not embraced, just to feel the heat. So all we're seeing is simply the fact that the youth have not been embraced by us. So now it's our time to embrace them, to love them, and lead them the way that they should go.
I love it. And how can people reach out to you?
You can reach me on Facebook at Zacchaeus L. Moss, but I definitely would love everybody to join Prayers for Education group. Join Prayers for Education group on Facebook. And that is certainly a place that we can all come together and pray. And with our focus on students, teachers, and education.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate you. So again, Pastor Johnson, saving the best for last. We're the last of the Mohegans. Thank you so much again for being here tonight. Your final words of encouragement, and if you'll say a quick prayer to pray us out for the evening. Oh, sounds like you're muted, Pastor Johnson. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. All right. Let me just throw in here right quickly. We started an initiative a few years ago called Black Man Strong. And one of the things that we're trying to do there is intentionally address Black history not from just the United States, but back through Africa, and deal with hidden colors and a lot of things like that to help establish this issue of identity. I think that identity is a critical concern amongst our young people in terms of helping them to really know who they are and where they should go or where they could go. I would give an example that we saw 4 young men, teenagers, early 20s, coming to our sessions. I didn't know who they were, but after a while, they started bringing more of their friends. I later found out these young men were Crips. And as a result of them watching these videos and being a part of our sessions, they started putting their guns down and then started telling other kids, other gang members, let's stop this violent stuff. And all because we centered on identity. And I think that's something that's critical. So spiritual identity as well as cultural identity, heritage, all of that is critical to helping our young people understand who they are and then begin to engage in their own passions, their gifts, their strengths, those things that are inside of them that can be fed and nourished into maturity. Okay, so I want to just throw that out there. You can find me at Curtis LJNSN. Oh, wait a minute, that's your email address. CurtisLJNSN@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook at Curtis L. Johnson or C. Lamar Johnson. I'm at Valley Brook Church, valleybrookOutreach.org. All right. So are we ready for prayer, or you want to throw anything before we do that? Okay. Father, we thank you for this opportunity. We thank you for allowing Stephanie to have this passion and this burden that you had given her the inspiration to address. We pray that you would use this time to be fruitful and productive in the lives of parents and young people who see this. We pray your covering over our young people all over this upstate, all over South Carolina, all over this nation. But we pray that the experiences that we've seen over the last few weekends does not continue. We pray that young people would become engaged and learn who they are, learn who you are, and learn who you are in them and what you want to do with their lives. We pray that you give us wisdom and direction as mentors and as leaders and as parents, so that we will know how to create an atmosphere and an environment where our young people can thrive and become all that you've ordained them to be. We pray, Father, that we can stop the violence, that there be peace that will come, that there be justice that can come, that we can do things that will honor your name and bless the lives of our next generations. And our prayer is your kingdom come, your will be done in earth as it is in heaven. In Christ's name we pray and thank you for the opportunity. Amen.
Amen. Well, thank you so much, Pastor Johnson. God bless you. And again, to all of my special featured guests for the evening, it's been such an amazing platform. Listen, we could probably go on for many more hours to come. For those of you that watched tonight, thank you for chiming in. Thank you for tuning in. Share the information. If you have teenagers, young adults, youth in your home, in your family, in your circle, make sure that you connect these nonprofit organizations, those that are really intentionally going after our youth to continue to allow them not only to be a learner, but to come out being a leader. Until next time, again, Happy New Year, everybody. Let's be intentional about our youth. This has been a virtual Clarion Call special edition on the Jazzy Report.